And we're live, but let me check and make sure everything's okay.
Okay.
Let's see here. Well, here we go. All right. Yeah, it's all good. Okay. We got some people coming in the house. Let's give them a little time.
Sure.
So, I want to apologize first publicly for not getting to your message. I mean, you wrote several good messages, really, and I'm just glad I ran across it today. Thank you for your persistence.
Pleasure. I just trust the divine timing's always perfect.
Yeah, you're right. I was excited that you wanted to do it tonight because, I did 2 shows today that were great, and then I was like, man, I
Yes.
have to do another show, and I just, I had some work to do, and I was like, it'll come, it'll unfold, and there you were. So that's
You're on fire. All these interviews. Wow.
so we got 14, 18 people in the house, 19, getting some people from down under, Karen Starr, Heather Houston, Lisi Fralin, my friend in Stavanger, Norway, Dana Beaumont, Christina Haritos, Angel Divine, Mick Rogers, my brother, Callie Louise Morgan, Maria Williams, Karen Anag, and Michael Muir's in the house. I love having Michael on. He's cool. Mira Ginsburg and Mary Cooper. And Brad Clemmer and Ram Palal. More. We got 23 now. So, yeah, there's some new names there. So let me just formally roll the show out. My name's Todd Medina. This is Soul Speaks 5D. This is the primary program we have on the Soulgy Network. And it's called Soul Speaks 5D. It's a conversation with, and today it's with Medyhne. So Medyhne is having a conversation with Medyhne. And we we do everything spontaneously here. And one of the things you sent me in one of the last messages, you said to me, I'd love to tell you about the things I found out about the name Medyhne.
Yeah,
You want to start
absolutely.
there?
Sure.
Welcome. I'm sorry. Welcome to the show. Thank you for sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence.
I really appreciate you having me here. You hold such a fabulous space that resonates with so many people, and I think you're doing an amazing job getting the consciousness raised on the planet, and so my hat goes off to you. So well done, and it's really wonderful to be here and to be able to chat about these really important topics at this time, particularly on the planet. The name Medyhne is very interesting because I channeled the name about 15 years ago in a meditation, and I found out subsequently that it had a lot of different meanings. And I know your Medina is a different spelling to mine, but it's still got the same resonance because it has the same sound frequency. And Medina has so many different cultural references around the world. I have a very strong memory because I do a lot of work with people with past lives. And one of my past lives was a North American Indian medicine woman. And I found out subsequently after I took on the name that Medyhne means medicine woman in one of these North American Indian dialects. So that was really interesting because I do remember that lifetime quite clearly, and it was a beautiful lifetime full of community, a lot of singing and dancing, and I do a lot of singing now, so that really resonates. And then there's many other meanings as well. There's Medina is also the spiritual business heart of the city in Morocco, so that's like the spiritual business hub. It has that resonance in it. And then there's other interesting ways that you can relate the name to, for example, Gaelic, Celtic. There's a bit of a mother energy in that, and I do a lot of work with Mother Mary, and so working with children, I have a real interest in helping children. So there is also that in it as well, and there's also more. So it's a very interesting name. Has a lot of different meanings.
Yeah, the only thing I know about it is that it's well, one of the roots of it, as we go into the tree of life, they're all connected, is that in the Arabic countries, Medina is like the town square, right? It's like
Yes,
the
well, that's
yeah,
yes, spiritual business heart. Yes,
yeah,
that's probably
yeah.
the same meaning that was relating to that. Oh, and the other one too, really important one is the Sanskrit root of the name Medha means divine, feminine, sacred power. And I think this is really interesting for you too, Todd, because I've watched many of your shows, and you hold a wonderful space for the divine masculine that's also holding a really good balance of divine feminine energy. And I think that really comes across. So it's very appropriate for you in that respect.
Well, I can't take credit for that unless I plan this in some way, because most of that came from one of your country mates, Morgan Lee, my divine partner. 3 years putting up with
She's
me, and
Australian, isn't she?
yeah, she's Australian. Yeah, she's from that place. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So was Medina your given name, or did you get it through this meditation and then change it to that?
Yeah, I got it through the meditation and changed it. To me, the frequency of sound is really important. I'm a singer and a musician. I write a lot of music, and so to have a name that really resonates you on that sound frequency is very important. And
Yeah,
my old name didn't feel like it really was in alignment anymore with my energy, so I changed it. And to me, it had a much softer, more feminine quality that really resonated, because you hear your voice when people say your name all the time, you hear it all the time over and over and over again, and it's going in continually. So it's really helpful to have a name that you feel comfortable with and that resonates with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Mm.
It's interesting because through my whole life, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go back to fourth grade or third grade, as far as I can remember. People always call me by my last name.
Ah,
For guys, that's one thing, but even half the girls would call me Medina. They wouldn't call
ah,
me Todd. But yeah,
wow.
I can relate to what you're saying, in regard to when you start to bring into the mix sound, music, uh, tonality, lyrics,
Mm.
and I can relate to that. I can, at a higher level. I hate to say it that way, but I mean at that telepathic level, I can understand what you're saying. That I can resonate, and I find that a very kindred vibration. You just came out with a new song. I tried to download that stuff. I couldn't get it done. So we might have to put you on the spot to hear your voice. But I'm not a singer and I'm not a rapper. I say I'm a soul speaker and I do some stuff to music. And so it's to me, it's like adding additional frequencies to an ever expanding vibration. So trying things that have never been done before to create something that's never been done before or experienced before, or whatever. What's your approach to the music part? I mean, because not too many people I run across are in this field, so to speak, and also have that part of it too, where they bring in the music and the lyrical and that type of thing. Do you write your own music?
Yes, I do, absolutely. And to me, it's interesting because the English language feels quite restricted, quite limited in what it can convey. I've done a Bachelor of Arts and a postgrad majoring in psychology, sociology, and English, and so I've explored the language quite well. And I'm also a published author. But to me, the way of expressing yourself through music is one which conveys your essence, your soul essence, much more clearly and strongly than the English language. To me, I feel always a sense of limit when I speak the English language. It doesn't have the same um, ability to convey who I am or what I'm expressing.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, there's a certain magic that occurs when I guess it can happen, because I write. I guess probably first and foremost I'm a writer, a poet or whatever. I don't believe in labels, but um there's something about I know, 2, 3, 4 years back when I started doing the stuff with the music, and I was all led from a divine voice said, go do this, go read some of your words to this music. And I'm like, what music? I can find some music, so it's classical and it's rap and it's all these different type of beats and stuff. But what would happen is and I don't know how your experience has been, but for me, it's like the first take is always the only take. It's like you turn
Oh,
on the music and you just jump
yeah,
into it and just find a rhythm. It's like riding a wave, like riding a big wave on a
true. That
surfing.
spontaneity, yeah, it definitely is. I think it's most powerful. That if you do following ones, it's more contrived and it doesn't feel as flowing. Yeah. I
Yeah,
often get recorded actually on my first take when I'm
yeah,
singing, and
yeah.
I think that's part of the energy that you're talking about. Yeah.
Now, how long have you been singing, or how long have you been producing these expressions? And how long has it been since you would say you were awake? Did they correlate?
No, I began singing when I was very young, and I have been writing music since my teenage years. Um, my true awakening came, interestingly, after my first child was born, because I think that often with children, each of them brings you a gift. And my first child, when she got to her what they call terrible twos, she was being very contrary. And everything I'd say to her, she'd say, "No, I don't want to." And so I thought, I don't want to shout. I don't want to get upset. I don't want to, get angry. So I'm going to go and learn to meditate. So when I began learning to meditate, the meditation teacher said to me, "You're going to be teaching meditation soon." And I thought, am I? That's not something that I would imagine I'd be doing. And sure enough, a short time later, I was teaching groups meditation, and then my path took off from there, and I began doing Reiki, which I think Reiki is often a pathway to other
Yeah,
modalities. It's often a good stepping stone, and became a Reiki master and followed a lot of different alternative modalities in terms of developing my skills, such as extrasensory perception healing, Palladian light work, all that sort of thing.
yeah,
And do it all on yourself first, and then you do it on other people. But also, to tell you the truth, my intuitive inherent abilities were from many lifetimes. So it's not just this lifetime where
yeah,
the skills have come through. And I think as I get more mature and develop my life experience, that they get more empowered, all my abilities, and my memories get stronger, my soul memories of what I've come through with. And I also become more grateful for the ability to be able to do this work and work with people in terms of transmuting anything that they need to heal and clear and that sort of thing. So, to me, that's such a gift to be able to give service in that way. So,
yeah. And to me, your story sounds very familiar as I hear it from other people, which is a lot of the practitioners that have been out there doing it for a long, long time, under the radar, energy work, uh, got there by to use human terms, healing themselves, tapping into infinite intelligence to find a way between them and the universe that they could navigate this thing, heal themselves, and expand. Was your experience like that?
yes, I think it's really important to do the work on yourself first, because then you have more clarity in terms of working with other people, that you're not projecting your own unhealed aspects and your own wounding, and that you're relatively clear. I mean, obviously, there's always work to be done, and that will continue for the whole lifetime. But but
That's the truth.
I sorry, what did you say?
I said, ain't that the truth? That's what you call surrender. Like, we're
That's
not
right.
going to get there. We're not getting there. Well, we're getting. We're always getting. There's always an ing on the end of it. It's not like we awakened or
No,
ascended.
No.
Is it
Oh my
ING?
gosh, I'm here. No.
Yeah. Yeah, so I figured that. Now, one of the comments you made to me in the message was, or one of the messages was, you said, I'd really like to, and thank you for the compliments on the show. Um, but you said, I'd really like to give an Australian, or as my divine partner told me today, because I said Aussie. She said, no, it's Aussie, Aussie. But to give an Aussie perspective of ascension. And so I guess my question would be, because there are differences. Obviously we're integrating these differences and these polarities
Yes.
and such, but sure, there's cultural impact and so on. And I've seen it in my relationship with Morgan. But so what do you see from the Aussie perspective? What do you see?
Oh,
How do you
well,
see the ascension? How do you see that in your social atmosphere, in your city, in your family, in your culture?
sure. Well, I actually tuned in and I got that you were going to ask me that question. So I had to think about this before you asked me that. So that was good. Thank you upstairs.
That's like having the answers on a test, man. No, go ahead.
I wish I had that when I was at secondary school. I would have done I would have done better. Well, I think one of the really significant aspects of having an Australian life is that we're very connected to nature here, and so my experience is filtered through the eyes of someone who really connects with nature at a deep level. And we have stunning, beaches. We have amazing wildlife. We have such a big country with so many different types of topography and different types of, mountains, and then we've got deserts, and we've got beautiful snowy covered mountains, and then we've got the incredible beaches, and it's just so varied and beautiful, and such incredible wildlife that has to be the way that I perceive my own soul evolution and my path of ascension.
Yeah.
And for example, recently I was up in northern New South Wales, and we had a friend who's a snake catcher. So we went wandering in the
snake catcher. Wait,
sorry?
Does that mean they catch snakes? Is that what it is?
Yes, and
wow.
And I know, and so one of my things is that I was born in the year of the snake, and I have had a bit of a fear of snakes in my lifetime, but I've been surrounded by snakes continually. Would you believe that in my house that I grew up in, my sister had a giant, one of the most poisonous snakes in the world, tiger snake, in her bedroom. It got through under the hallway and went down into her bedroom. And so I grew up with this. And so I've always had this aspect of...
What kind of crazy shift is that?
I know. Can you believe that? And so I've had this real conscious sort of awareness of snakes very much for a long time. But to me, that's a really important aspect of who I am, because it's very much in my pathway in this lifetime. And so also the fact, combined with I had a little bit of a fear of snakes, because, some of the most poisonous snakes are here. And so to me, it's really important to embrace that aspect of self, which is that, the snake represents transformation, kundalini energy, all that sort of thing, and to really embrace the aspect of who I am within myself. One time I dreamed that there was a blue snake which bit me on the leg, and I woke up and I had 2-pronged bite on my leg, and things like that.
Reality.
So I've had
some... That's reality. You weren't sleeping.
Yeah, it was really amazing. And there's, I think, some Aboriginal mythology to do with that as well, but the blue spirit snake. But so to me, that was really important to embrace it. So recently I went for a walk with this friend who's a snake catcher, and I was holding wild snakes straight from the wild, and they were quite big too as well. And so that to me was an important aspect of embracing who I am at that really core level, and what is around me in this life. And I think to really transmute the fears that we have is very important in this lifetime. Any fears that come up for us, really going into the core of, what's creating them and what does that represent for us, and how can we heal that and get centered in love, and because obviously there's two polarities, there's fear and there's love. If you're not in fear, you're in love. If you're not in love, you're in fear. So that's an important aspect of healing, I think.
Yeah, I like the way you bring that down to the only two choices or two energies there are. The one thing that alarms me is that I have some passport issues that I'll get, taken care of, in time. And my plan was to settle in Australia. As I sit here in Hawaii, where they have no snakes. They have no snakes in Hawaii. I was like, what? And
Oh.
you're telling me they have the most poisonous in the world in Australia. I don't know if I want to end up there or not now. No, I'm
Oh.
kidding. But I really appreciate what you're saying, and I do think that divine timing is divine timing. And I just wrote a little piece a while ago. I had first time in a few days I've had a chance to write something, and it was about the dragon energy. I didn't specifically talk about it being in Hawaii, but I have felt this dragon energy since I got here, and I feel like it's a collective thing. I feel like this dragon energy, and I want to throw anything reptilian in there. Snakes, frogs, or whatever the case is. Um, that what this energy has shown me, and I've got to believe that the snake energy is connected to it, is that more than any other divine essence, be it Jesus or Magdalene or Kuan Yin or Saint Germain or Merlin or any angelic or archangelic or demon or whatever, anything I've come across energetically, nothing has shown me the expanse of acceptance and balance to the extremes that the dragon or reptilian energy has shown me. It's shown
Yeah.
me the highest of light and the darkest of dark, and
Yeah.
in both the extremes and in between, it's shown me a balance that has really, really affected me in the last couple of weeks.
And I think that's a great gift, because such an important aspect of really our own soul progression and evolution on this planet is to embrace the deepest wounding, the deepest shadow aspect. And that is often represented by those sorts of energies. Another one that I can think of is a shark, that has a very big fear resonance for many, many people. And so those sorts of energies are here to show us things within ourselves that we can address and that we can work on. And I think the greatest thing that we can all do is to go inward and be continually working on our own progression as a soul. It's so much easier, of course, not to do that, because it's confronting, it's intimidating. It's easier to sit on the sidelines and point the finger at other people and say, "Oh, we do that." But the more that we can transmute within ourselves, the quicker the whole planet's going to be accelerated in this incredible acceleration of healing that's already happening. And the transition is so fast and so intense for us all that I think many of us are doing an exceptional job. And I think we need to pat ourselves on the back for that and acknowledge that we are master souls. To be here at this time. There are many souls that were asked to come in at this time. Oh, sorry, I'll just finish this.
No,
there are many souls.
I'm just saying we speak the same language. Keep going.
Yeah. There were many souls that were invited to be here at this time on the Earth planet. And I think we need to recognize the fact that we were chosen, and there's a reason we were chosen. Many were turned away, but we were chosen because it was felt in the higher realms that we're able to really contribute to this transition in a powerful way. And that's why we're allowed to be here at this time, or we've been given permission. And I think that each of us needs to really recognize and honor that within ourselves and say, well done me for being here at this time through this most profound shift that is of all worlds, at any time of all worlds, which is, really quite beyond our ability to comprehend. But yet,
as humans,
But
there is a beautiful synchronicity happening. This post I put up an hour ago I just came on. I was killing time. I sent the messages to you, and I saw this picture of a dragon that was
Yes.
profound. There was no words. Jessica Woods put it up, and I've seen some of her posts, but I never seen her put one up. It was just a picture, and the dragon. Uh, and that's what's so great about this time that we're living in, because you don't need words. Like when I saw the picture, it just like hit me. Like, I got to write a post. So with what you're saying, and how synchronistic it is and aligned, or we're aligned, I don't know however you want to put it. I just want to read it because it's exactly what you were just saying at the end of
Fantastic.
it. So I said, to me, I've encountered no essence like the dragon energy. None strike me like the dragon vibe. Not the iconic divine essences, not the most scary, not the most bright. This dragon energy being re embodied onto this planet, realm, and experience has shown me the infinite extremes of the spectrum of life, in my humble opinion, through the it in me and you. So I see a deeper history, our evolution so dear to this relove solution we have been chosen for and earned. We are the new good book, writing the new code, setting the new blueprint. And as this journey continues, I can see us all further embodying those core essences that hold a wider expanse of dark and light. We came to establish a new zero point, taking in every single universal aspect into our beautiful, brave human hearts. This is our contribution to expanding creation. I call it the soul highway. And to me, what you're saying is the same thing. So it's like huge validation. I'm not crazy tonight for what I wrote.
Wow.
Right.
Fantastic. Wow. And to me that dragon energy is very, again, like the snake, very transformational. It's a very strong, powerful energy, like envisioning the fire and what a fire does to burn and like a phoenix, really starting again in from scratch in a rebirth type scenario. That's what the dragon means to me. And that's the energy at the moment, which is a very intense energy that we just talked about, the 1111 gateway portal, all that sort of energy, where everything is redefining itself. We're releasing all old programming, all old patterns, all old mindsets, all old ego, all old attachments, and we can ask to release them as much as possible and really not be attached to any particular mindset or paradigm or belief system, but being open to what this new energy brings into our field.
Yeah, it's like we're like from the same soul tree, but
Yes,
so to me, it's
probably
like,
got the same name.
you know, right? So it's like, you know, it's not being attached to where we came from, and
No,
it's not
absolutely
being
not.
attached to what we've gotten. Like, in
Mm.
other words, the past can limit us, our experience can limit us by the invocation of fear or whatever the case is. But by the same token, what we're receiving, it's limitless. So we can attach to the limitation of, oh, I am a direct conduit of this aspect only. Like my partner
Yes.
always says, why limit yourself? I am not
Oh,
just this, I am that and this. And that's what I'm learning from this dragon energy in Kauai is, I go out into the lagoon in the middle of the night, strip down and go into the water. And I'm like, uh, this is like profound, but I feel and see all this light, but I also see and feel all this dark. And it's almost like the message is too much light is good or bad as too much dark. So light, extreme light can have a malevolent uh, energy, and
right.
extreme darkness can have a benevolent energy. It's like,
Sure.
like you said a minute ago, it's way beyond our human brain comprehension. There's no way. It's just this
Absolutely.
vibration that somebody said on one of the shows the other day. I said something to him about, how do you describe this? And he said, well, it's a feeling. We're
Yeah,
moving into like just feeling, so
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I like
And I love the way you're talking about, stripping down and going to nature and that sort of thing, because that connection to nature is really part of this shift as well. It's really reconnecting with Mother Earth and our the industrial revolution disconnected us from that connection with Mother Earth. And, to be able to connect to that, there's an electrical conduit field around the earth that we need to reconnect to take off our shoes and reconnect with bare feet to the earth for half an hour a day, grounding our energy, being with our back to a tree and asking to align our energy with the tree's energy. And when you do that, you notice that you're breathing and your whole biorhythms change to align with the trees. And it's incredible the impact that the nature has, and it can really accelerate our progress so much. And we can work in harmony, and we need to also be really grateful, have incredible gratitude for Mother Earth and for the gifts that she brings us. That is so important, and coming from Australia, that's taught me that as well. I've got a lot of fairy energy, mermaid energy in my energy.
You got all that energy. You just got this part opening up. Yeah. So, like, for someone like you who's been in the game for so long, I know you went through, so many people I know went through these, these intense divine communions, received information, healed themselves, began taking that out to others as practitioners, almost like, hey, when's everybody going to catch up with me? Kind of thing, right? So,
well, there's no judgment on that, because
I know there's no judgment on that, but I mean, some of you guys have been, y'all were getting information for a long, long time. I mean, I've been in this thing about 7 years, and it's only been like, I mean, I don't even compare. So I'm just like, but with that perspective, what's it like to see what's happening now? What do you see happening?
Oh, it's incredible, the changes that are manifesting. I see that the older generation have a very different energy to even my generation. I mean, I guess some people could say I'm old, but I can see the older generation, it's a totally different vibration, frequency, energy to mine. And then I look at the young ones, and I work with a lot of children, and they are so incredibly beautiful and sensitive and empathic and loving. And I noticed that, they have a whole series of things like food allergies to, all types of, gluten intolerant, dairy intolerant, wheat intolerant. And we need to really look after these kids in terms of their diet and what they're consuming and ingesting, as hopefully as little processed food as possible, and food with life force in it, because these kids are so incredible and tuned in and telepathic, and you don't even have to speak to them, and they know exactly what you're thinking and what you're feeling. So that's what I'm noticing. There's an incredible difference in the generations and what they represent, and that older generation, they're probably finding it very difficult at this point, being able to integrate the energies that
you be talking older than me. I don't know. I'm kidding.
I am. Trust me.
I'm 56. I'm 57 in less than a month. But no, you're right about that. I've been looking for, and I'm putting a call out now to everybody listening on the replay as well, for young people. We just recently are getting to the point where we're about to finally, after 2 years of Todd trying to do it, launch this 24/7, 365 multiple channel network. And over the last few days, a couple of younger energies came in, and then I've had some interaction with some young people, 18, 19, 17, 22. And I'll give you an example. One of them was Dane Jones, and Dane Jones came on for the second time the other day, and I said, so what's it like, man? What's happening since 11/11? He says, dude, uh you know I walk, to the beach, and I walk to the place, I go take a shower, and I go do this and I go do that. He said, and sometimes I walk down a new street, and when I go down the new street, it's like a totally different reality. Like, in other words, he can see things that he couldn't
Yes.
see before. And so what I'm getting at is these young people are communicating at a really what I would consider a nonverbal level. We may try to get them to verbalize it, but they're just pure frequency. And I think to your point about the allergies, that's their light body saying, I ain't taking this shift. you
Exactly.
know
Absolutely.
and I think personally, I think that energy is so strong and so powerful that
Mm.
they can throw all the GMOs they want and chemtrails and this and that and whatever. It ain't going to stop this. This energy is so formidable that it in itself is an alchemy that will transform us socially and so, culturally and so on, you know?
That's true, but I think we can assist it by being
Yeah.
really careful with the diets. But I do hear your point, and I think that's a very good point. And you know, the whole education system is so out of alignment now with the energy. My son, it's really funny because, you know, just very recently some incredibly powerful consciousness codes were downloaded into the younger generation, and these are the next level up of you know, divine wisdom and knowledge. And my son was sitting in a test, and he said, it was so cute. He said to me, he goes, "Oh, Mom," he goes, "I didn't do any study, and I just got all the answers really quickly. I don't know where they came from, and I just wrote them all down, and I finished the test really quickly." and and it was an exact representation of what I just heard, that these new consciousness codes of information had come, and they just know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. It's like, it's like we're, you're right. And I will say this, I'll put myself in that older group because this young group, they just don't have the conditioning. Their DNA was more aligned with the original blueprint, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
And the force that we're seeing come into play now is not us protesting or boycotting or marching or whatever.
No.
There's something more powerful about it where if we just carry the thought, we can call it belief or whatever you want to call it because it's not a word. We carry that pure timeline, our more
Yeah.
true timeline, which is what they're bringing in, and we get on with that wave and stop resisting all these things that are really have no power over us. They're carrying the vibration of purity. And we may have done the work, but I think it's not going to be too long before, like you were saying earlier, pat yourself on the back, before we just say, hey, you know what, let's just follow the kids. You know what I mean?
No, it's very exciting. It's a really, really positive thing. And another quality that I see as well as purity is grace. You know, this real grace, quality of grace, which is just a really high vibrational frequency. And it's really with great anticipation that I see this all unfolding. And I just found out the most incredible news today that the amazing Marianne Williamson, who of course wrote the Course in Miracles, has said that if she gets support behind her, she's going to run for presidency. So
Yeah.
I shared that on multiple channels. I thought that was amazing. And,
Yeah.
you know, so in the politics as well, we're seeing divine government starting to be installed. And if we all just envision these incredible positive things that are happening and hold the energy of that, like you say, rather than be focused on any of the old energies that are leaving the planet, then the transition will happen much more smoothly and quickly and easily.
Now let me ask you this as an energy practitioner. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know energy. You know everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Do Lisa Transcendence Brown talks about how we've gone from linear to quantum,
Mm-hmm.
and using these kids as a backdrop. I don't know. I'm going to try to say this, and I'd like for you to elaborate or comment or whatever. So it's almost like once we're aware of something, whether it be something we thought was real and wasn't or isn't, the
Mm-hmm.
illusion, the lie drops away, the
Mm-hmm.
expansion of our awareness, our acceptance and open-mindedness to everything, dark and light and all that. What I'm trying to say is that information is moving, it seems like, at a different pace. And maybe the way she describes it is right. It's a quantum thing. And so
Yes.
we no longer, for instance, as an example, have to go through this certain, 6-day diet, or rehab 6 weeks or whatever, or this course or that course. We can actually take in this knowledge in the form of like soul exchange. What
Yes,
you have, I can pull from you. We pull from the collective, consciousness, however you want to put it. And it's
yes.
moving at warp speed. Now, are you seeing that in your clients and in
Oh,
your own life?
absolutely. A few years back, I can give you an example of collective consciousness. I wrote a book. I spent about a year writing a book, and it had the main character was blue, a blue being, and it had the people got the energy from the trees, and there were these big bat-like creatures in the book. And I spent a year writing it, and then one day I decided to go to the cinema with my daughter, and we went to see Avatar. And I'm sitting in the cinema. My daughter's read my book, and I look at her and I go, blast. Because everything that I just written in the book was on the cinema with the movie. And so that was tapping into collective consciousness then, but it's just speeding up now, and it's becoming much more instantaneous. And I mean, even today, how was that we decided to, do the interview tonight, and then I found out literally 1 hour before we went on air here that my music video had just been finished and was being released, so it's available now. So that's again that sort of synchronistic speeding up of everything.
That's right. And it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense, It doesn't make sense. It's like not in the old way. So, I mean, I don't have the ability tonight. I am going to download it, tomorrow or whatever, and incorporate it into our channel feed, because I did
Oh,
listen to
beautiful!
it.
Thank you.
I don't
It is
know. Huh?
relevant because it's about spiritual strength and really
Yeah.
standing strong in your spiritual center, regardless of what's happening in the physical around us, and not being swayed by the external scenario of what's going on, but just staying really centered in your own inner strength.
Can you sing a few bars for us?
Okay.
Or you
When the
can speak the lyrics
okay,
if you want. I mean,
okay,
just
I
to
could
give
think.
give us a taste.
That's right, I'll try. When the clouds begin to gather, when the storm begins to break, I will stand strong in my spirit, even though the earth may quake. And when people crush each other and let darkness rule their soul, though my body may be broken, my spirit will stay whole.
Wow, that's cool, man. That's the I am soul. That's Soulogy. It's all about you and me, bro. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about you
Yeah,
and me. It's
yeah,
all about
absolutely.
just being present in this present moment, and
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
creation.
And on that note, I can give the people listening a tip for that, because if you envisage in front of your solar plexus a timeline, and the timeline is to the right of the timeline is the future, to the left of the timeline is the past, and what you really want to do is to consciously go in and look at your timeline and see if you're centered right in the center of your timeline, which is the now moment, and saying, I am 100% present right here, right now, because that is the point we have the greatest ability to manifest, and to manifest in the physical world what we want to create. It's also the greatest point of our joy. So it's very important to be centered in that complete present moment in our timeline. So I'd ask everyone to go in and have a look at their inner timeline and see where they are based on that. And many people say that they're in the past or in the future. And it does limit our ability to be able to, create what we want in this lifetime.
Yeah. So, what would your advice be? You may have just said it, but what would your advice be to anyone to find a more consistent presence?
I guess it would be starting with breath. Breathing is really powerful because that can really help. Being conscious of our breath is a really good point to start from. and then being mindful of the moment that you're in at this time. So taking yourself out of thinking about other things. And part of that's, the ability to meditate, to be able to bring your thoughts down so that you are able to find an empty space in your thoughts and in your mind, and not cluttered by all these, thoughts going on and on. So that's part of it. And I think often when we're stressed, we go out of that present moment. So if you're feeling stressed, looking at why you're stressed and doing something in your life to change that balance so that you're not in that stress space. I mean, we're here to experience joy and to just quality of life and our highest potential. And anything else is not in alignment with what is meant to be. So really important to strive for that. I mean, when you think of being a child, you think of being fully present in that moment. So sometimes it's about going of the inner child and letting go of all this other stuff that we've accumulated as we've grown older and become adults, and coming back to that point of that innocence and that purity that we had as children, where we're able to stay 100% present in the moment. And as I get older, I strive to actually become younger in that way, and to release all these adult, cultural paradigms that actually repress us. And
yeah, I like that. Adult.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think that's another thing that really works. And when you see children, a great tip is to just spin clockwise at least 10 times, and that's your joy right there. And when you see children, spontaneously spinning, that's because it feels fun and it feels good. But it also, at the same time, has great meaning, because it opens and balances your chakras, your energy centers, and so it's a great thing to do.
Would you say
anyway.
that
everyone should do that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, there was a delay. I got you.
No, go ahead.
Point. No, that's a great point, because the childlike wonder and innocence is really the natural nature of what we are. So, as a practitioner, because a lot of people, it's so hard to describe things in human words without sounding judgmental or anything like that. I really believe everyone's beating at the same vibration, just doesn't look that way. But there's many people that, by their own admission, are waking up now and trying to figure things out now. Okay. And they feel like they are deficient, or they feel like, oh, she can do that and he can do this, and and I can't, and why can't I? Well, you know what I mean? And so I guess what I'm saying is, since you are an experienced practitioner, are you seeing that same quantum speeding up with the people that you're working with? I mean, are you seeing clear evidence of people transforming much quicker than you did and other people or your peers did, that type of thing?
Oh, absolutely. That's so true. You got to remember, I'm a bit older too.
Not that You're not older than me, are you? You can't be older than me.
Actually, no, I'm not. But
thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, you told
I
me
love you, Aussies. You Aussies, you sure know how to, make a guy feel good.
but that's not old anyway, because you're as old as you feel, and
relative.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean anything. I don't attach anything to numbers anyway. But
I'm just playing around. I'm just playing around. But Morgan calls me an old man.
Oh, not at all. So I think that with this awakening, I do see people getting this incredible level of divine wisdom and knowledge and awareness, pure consciousness coming through, where they could be way ahead of me quite quickly without having come from that space in a much of a long time. So, there is no judgment on any of that. And if people do feel like they're behind, don't feel that way, because I'm sure that everything is in divine alignment, and that you'll get what you need at the exact perfect timing. The other point to make, I think, is that healers and light workers, through so many lifetimes of being persecuted, have inherently got quite low levels of self-worth often. And so we all need to really focus on being our own best cheerleader, our own best motivational coach, and saying, you know, I'm a fantastic person. I'm doing the best that I can, you know, and coming from a space, because a lot of us, of course, we don't come from ego, because that isn't in alignment with the energies that we have. But our problem is that we often have a lack of self-worth, and we don't necessarily believe that we can fully step into our purpose or service because we don't have the gifts or abilities that we need to be able to do that. But I would say that to be aware that that's what happens, and now is the time on the planet like never before to step fully into our purpose and to give your gifts to the world, because the world really needs your gifts at this time. And it's also the incredible support we're getting from the light now like never before. 2018 has been so different and quite a stark difference to previous years in terms of the support that we're getting as light workers and healers. You know, when we go to bring in our service and to create things as a light worker and healer, we find that things happen really quickly and they're so magnified and the energies are so empowered, and we don't have to feel that we're doing it alone, you know, that we're not supported, because they're able, actually, because of the high frequency that's coming through now, that's being downloaded, they're able to support us better now than ever before. And so we are getting all sorts of support, you know, from all different aspects. And I think that is really important to keep in mind too when you're taking your service into the world.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that it's more obvious. I mean, this year, if this year hasn't been quantum, I don't know what quantum is, but
exactly.
But you know, there's just more, and it's not, you know, there's more evidence, but it's not like something that 3D would back you up on, or society would back you. It's this evidence is like it's magical, and it's increasing. And it's expanding so rapidly, like a book you wrote yesterday. It doesn't apply today, kind of thing, but it's all in a good way. I'm just.
If you define anything by the 3D reality, if you define anything like that by the 3D reality, you're not going to get any sort of comprehension anymore, because it's a different way of evaluating everything.
It doesn't apply. So
that's right.
What do you see happening? I mean, none of us can know, but I mean, what's your gut feeling on what we'll see between now and the end of the year? Because we all know one thing we've learned in 2018, that 6 weeks is like 6 years, you know? I mean, it's like a lot can happen. What do you see happening between now and the end of the year collectively?
Well, I can actually give you a technique that really helps with this. And I did this technique and I was blown away. I thought, my gosh, this is incredible. This is about feeling the energies. So I want you to hold out 2 hands unsupported in front of you. Hold out your hands. And I want you to hold in your left hand the energies of the moment, which is now. 16th or 17th of November, one of them, in your left hand. Feel the energies of that, and then I want you to, in your right hand, ask to feel the energies of, say, the 1st of January 2019, and I want you to just tune into those energies and feel how they feel. How's that feeling for you, Todd?
That's very cool.
That's very cool.
Isn't that amazing? It's incredible. The left hand is so much incredibly denser and heavier, and the lightness in the right hand, and that's what we're dealing with. That's the difference in the energy right there. And to me, that says it all.
Now, let me ask you, where can people find you? YouTube, Facebook, where can they find your music?
Sure, and my website will be linked globally online, and so I have a website which is www.medyhne Yhne. And it's not INA. Like
That's not how you
somebody else I
spell
know.
it. It's Medina, man. I've been spelling it my whole life, you know.
It actually would be much easier if I spelled it like that.
No.
But you know what I say? I say to people, it's your happiness now every day, because then it's Yhne. Easy to remember. Medyhne, Medyhne.com, and you can contact me on there, and you can book global online sessions, and they're 1 hour long, and you shift through a lot of things really quickly, and can incorporate past life readings if that's what is needed in the session. And also on the website, I'll be putting my video up, I think tomorrow, because I only just got it like an hour before I spoke to you. So I'll be putting that up tomorrow. And anything you want to contact me, please, I love people to contact me and say hi, and open to connecting with wonderful like-minded souls out there. So,
excellent.
And
so if you would, please put whatever links you have in the comments when the show's over, because I know people will be reaching out, particularly on the replay. We get a lot of action on the replay when we go this late at night or this time of day down under. So yeah, I think that'd be great. I'd love to have you back sometime. I'll reach out to you in regard to your material, whether they be music or video or both, so we can incorporate that into the Soulogy Network. You're a beautiful sister. I see blue ray all over you.
And that's the communication, because I'm here to communicate, and that's that blue energy. And I really advise people to work with their chakras, to working with the colors in each chakra, spinning the colors in, and because that can be a really fantastic instantaneous fixer-upper for the energies at the moment as well. And I really want to again say thank you so much, Todd. You do an amazing job. You've got a wonderful divine masculine embodied energy that is really, really healthy and helpful for men and women out there to resonate with and to see in action. And so I really honor you for that. So thank you for wonderful interview as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. And let me just say, if a heathen can make it, anybody can make it.
Remember what I said about that no ego thing that light workers in here.
I have nothing. I'm nothing. I know that. I don't know anything. Let me ask you one last thing as we walk out the door. If you could give anybody any advice or perspective from this point forward, as we move into this unknown, ever expanding energy every day, what would you have to say?
I think that the new model for manifestation is the divine feminine model. The old masculine energy of manifestation was one where we would be running around, networking, and we're doing a lot of action and creating your life, and really busy and on the go. The new model of manifestation, which really came into great resonance in 2018, is to be able to spend time to go inward and to really connect with our own inner core at a very deep level, and to find our connection to the divine, to love, to one another through that inner core level, and manifest from that point. And that is a far better mode of manifestation now. If you try to manifest in the old paradigm, in that old way, you will be at times knocking your head against a brick wall, because it doesn't work in the same way. And there's a reason for that. So I would be really encouraging people to go to that still inner place. And the world's so overstimulated at the moment. There's so much, happening on so many levels.
Let's say the world is overstimulated and needs to get stimulated by the method you're talking about. And I just want to pass this on. A lot of people know we've been trying to launch this 24/7, 365. And what you described a minute ago, oh, she's gone now. But what she described a minute ago is what I've been going through. And what I've noticed over the last 2 or 3 days is this divine feminine energy has been coming in through others male and female, and it's consolidated and congealed, and now it's working the way that she's talking about through the advice she's giving. So we got to remember these are energies we're talking about. Doesn't really have anything to do with our human incarnation, gender. But what I was just telling them is I've actually experienced this over the last few days through men and women coming into the Soulogy, you know, I don't know what you want to call it, the Soulogy core to launch this thing when I was trying to do it the way that we used to do it, the masculine way. So I was hitting my head like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. It's like, hurry up and wait, like, get all dressed up and know where to go kind of thing. But this feminine energy is coming in over the last few days, probably because I'm sure in some way, my part of it, I've allowed it or open to it or become it or whatever. And you're right. It's like it's like there's an old adage by the president Abraham Lincoln. He said, if I have 6 hours to chop a tree down, I'm going to sharpen my saw for 4 and cut for 2, versus just chopping, you know what I mean? And it's the
Oh,
same
that's
kind of thing. When you say to connect inwardly to solve these issues or whatever it may be, creatively, intuitively, from that creative force, as opposed to that, logical, cognitive, human monkey mind. Now, no disrespect to
exactly.
monkeys. We're all the same. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh,
It's a little late over here. I'm going to go have a little snack and go to bed. I look forward to collaborating with you again, and I'll reach out to you on your material. And thank you so much for coming on short notice, honoring us with your presence, sharing space with us.
oh, thank you. Namaste. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you very
Bye.
much. See you all
Appreciate
tomorrow.
it.
We